Have you ever noticed how quietly we slip into the habit of accepting less than we deserve? What if the deepest pain you carry right now is not because of how others have treated you, but because of what you silently agreed to? If you have ever felt exhausted from trying to earn your place, if you have ever shrunk yourself to keep the peace, or stayed quiet because you felt you were not quite enough to ask for more, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see your own worth forever. 1. The heavy price of believing you are not enough. There is an invisible weight we carry when we do not feel whole. You begin to accept small disrespects. A harsh word here, being overlooked there. Someone constantly placing their convenience above your needs. You do not fight back, not because you do not feel the sting, but because somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispers that maybe this is all you are meant to receive. You compromise, you adapt, you make yourself smaller, hoping that by asking for less, you will at least get to keep what little you have. But here is the truth few people want to face. Shrinking yourself does not bring you peace, it only starves your spirit. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering often arises not just from what happens to us, but from our deep attachment to false beliefs about who we are. When you believe you are lacking, you look at the world through the lens of scarcity. You wait for others to hand you scraps of validation, respect, or love. You build an entire identity around being less than. But in Buddhist thought, your true nature is already complete. You are not a broken thing needing to be perfect before you are worthy of basic dignity. Imagine a tree standing on the edge of a great forest. For years, the wind has battered it from one side, and the tree has grown leaning heavily, its branches bowing toward the earth to avoid the storms. It believes it must stay low to survive, but the soil beneath it is deep, the sun above it is warm. The tree does not need to bow to earn the right to grow. The bowing is simply a habit, a memory of old storms that have long since passed. You, too, are bending to storms that are no longer there. Think about your own life. Think about the conversations where you swallowed your truth just to keep someone else comfortable. Think about the spaces where you gave everything and asked for nothing, secretly hoping they would eventually see your value and treat you differently. Trying to earn respect by accepting disrespect is like trying to put out a fire by feeding it dry leaves. It only fuels the very thing that burns you. Ask yourself, what are you afraid will happen if you stand up straight and stop bowing to the wind? What are you still holding on to out of fear that you do not deserve better? Pause, breathe, look closely at the fear of taking up space. Let the feeling rise without making it who you are. You do not have to fix everything today. Just notice where you are bending, because realizing you have been accepting too little is a painful but entirely necessary awakening. You cannot change what you refuse to see, but recognizing the weight is only the first step, and this is where the next truth begins, because underneath this quiet surrender is a deep misunderstanding of what it actually means to be worthy. 2. The illusion that respect must be earned through perfection. What if the reason you feel so unworthy of respect is because you are measuring yourself against a standard that does not even exist? Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. Your belief that you must be flawless to be treated well is the very thing keeping you trapped. You carry a silent contract in your mind. It says, if I am always kind, if I never make a mistake, if I am the most accommodating person in the room, then they will finally respect me. And when they do not, you do not blame them. You blame yourself. You think you just were not good enough yet. You apologize for things that are not your fault. You analyze your own flaws with a magnifying glass, convinced that your imperfections disqualify you from basic human decency. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this conditional self-worth is a profound illusion. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is that all things are inherently flawed and impermanent, yet perfectly whole in their true nature. The lotus flower grows out of the dark, heavy mud, but we do not demand the mud be clean, nor do we expect the lotus to bloom perfectly all year long. Your innate dignity is not a prize you win at the end of a long marathon of self-improvement. It is not something you earn. Imagine a river moving steadily toward the ocean. Along its journey, it picks up fallen leaves, dirt, and heavy stones. Sometimes its waters are murky, sometimes it rushes violently over jagged edges. But the river does not stop moving. It does not apologize for the mud it carries. It does not wait to become entirely pure and perfectly clear before it believes it is worthy of reaching the sea. It flows, whole and complete, holding its imperfections alongside its power. Yet, in your own life, how often do you stop flowing? In your relationships, when someone speaks to you harshly or ignores your boundaries, you immediately look inward for the blame. You think, "I was too sensitive," or "I should have explained it better." At work, you let others take credit for your efforts because you focus only on the one mistake you made, entirely ignoring your quiet, steady dedication. You use your own humanity as a weapon against yourself. You let the mud convince you that you are not a river. Ask yourself, are you using your own imperfections as an excuse to let others treat you poorly? Are you demanding an impossible purity from yourself before you finally ask to be treated with care? Pause, breathe, observe the thought that you are not good enough, and let it pass like a cloud across the sky. You do not have to be perfect to draw a line in the sand. You do not have to be flawless to say, "This is not acceptable." Let that sink in. You are allowed to be a beautiful work in progress and still require that others treat you with respect. Your worth is not a performance you put on for the world. It is simply your presence. But understanding this logic is only half the journey, because when you stop trying to be perfect, the mind often retreats in a different direction to protect itself. And this is where the quietest trap lies waiting. 3. The quiet trap of hiding from the world. What if your attempt to protect yourself has actually become the very thing keeping you locked in the dark? There is a strange kind of freedom in giving up, is there not? When you are exhausted from trying to earn respect, when you feel you will never be quite enough, the easiest thing to do is to simply step back. You stop speaking up. You withdraw from connections. You isolate yourself from the noise of the world. You tell yourself that you are finally choosing peace, because in the quiet, no one can criticize you. No one can overlook you. No one can demand perfection. But here is the truth. Hiding is not healing, and withdrawing from life is not the same as finding peace. You construct thick walls to keep the disrespect out, but in doing so, you keep all the light out, too. You convince yourself that by shrinking into the background, you are safe. But safety bought at the cost of your own existence is just another form of suffering. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the danger of aversion. Often, we confuse avoidance with non-attachment. We think that by pushing the world away and numbing our desires, we are practicing letting go. But in Buddhist thought, true peace is not found by running away from life. It is found by standing firmly within it, observing the joy and the pain without letting either consume you. Aversion, the desperate urge to avoid what is uncomfortable, is just as trapping as clinging. Imagine a person who builds a fortress with heavy wooden doors to escape a raging storm. At first, the silence inside is a profound relief. The wind cannot reach them, the rain cannot touch them, but days turn into years, and the doors remain firmly shut. The air inside grows stale. The room is cold and dark. What began as a necessary sanctuary has quietly turned into a prison. By refusing to step outside, they are no longer protecting themselves from the storm. They are denying themselves the sunlight. Think about your own life. Think about the invitations you have turned down because you feared you would not belong. Think about the ideas you kept to yourself at work because you assumed they would be ignored. Think about how you have pulled away from friends or lovers, keeping a safe distance so they cannot see your flaws. You walk through your own life like a ghost, believing that if you do not take up space, you cannot be hurt. Ask yourself, are you truly protecting your peace, or are you simply hiding from the possibility of being seen? Are you guarding your heart, or are you starving it? Pause, breathe. Notice the walls you have built around yourself. You do not have to tear them all down today, but stop trying to lock the door from the inside. Let the feeling of vulnerability rise without letting it send you running back into the dark. You are allowed to be seen, even if you are entirely imperfect, because true quiet strength is not found in disappearing. It is found in standing exactly where you are, flaws and all, and refusing to apologize for your presence. But stepping back into the light is terrifying if you do not know who you are underneath the fear. And this is where the next truth begins, because before you can face the world again, you must first remember what you are made of. 4. The truth of your inherent worth. What if your value has never been something you could lose, only something you have temporarily forgotten? Here is the truth. We spend so much of our lives treating our worth like a fragile, fluctuating currency. We constantly weigh ourselves on the scales of other people's opinions. If someone ignores you, your value drops. If someone praises your work, your value rises. You wake up every day feeling like you are starting from zero, constantly needing to perform, achieve, and give relentlessly just to maintain a baseline of worthiness. You believe that if someone treats you poorly, it must be a reflection of your actual value. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a very different truth. In Buddhist thought, every single person possesses an inherent, unshakable purity and worth that exists entirely independent of external events. Buddhism reminds us that your true essence cannot be diminished by praise or blame, success or failure, respect or disrespect. You are not a blank slate waiting for the world to write your value upon it. Your worth is already whole. Imagine a beautiful statue made of solid gold, hidden for centuries under thick layers of heavy clay. To protect the statue from storms and thieves, it was covered so completely that everyone forgot what was underneath. For years, people walk past the clay statue, treating it as something ordinary, perhaps even harsh or unrefined. The world treats it like mud. But the gold underneath has never changed. It has never tarnished. The ignorance of the people walking by does not reduce the value of the gold by a single ounce. You are walking through life believing you are the clay. Think about the situations where you have accepted the bare minimum. When someone disrespects you, talks over you, or overlooks your feelings, they are only reacting to the clay. But the tragedy is not that they cannot see your gold. The tragedy is that you have forgotten it too. You let a passing comment from a coworker, a lack of effort from a partner, or the quiet loneliness of a Friday night convince you that you are somehow defective. You let the blindness of others dictate your own reality. Ask yourself, whose opinion have you allowed to determine your value? Are you exhausted because you are constantly trying to polish the clay, rather than simply remembering the gold underneath? Pause, breathe, place a hand over your heart. Feel the steady, quiet rhythm of your own life. You do not have to prove anything to the air you breathe. Stop trying to convince the world of your value. Let that sink in. You do not need to earn your right to take up space. Your worth was given to you the moment you were born, and it cannot be taken away by someone else's inability to see it, because you cannot ask for respect from the world until you first remember who is asking for it. But knowing your worth quietly in your mind is only a realization. Eventually, that realization must be tested in the real world. And this is where the next truth begins. Because protecting your peace requires the courage to say a single, difficult word. 5. The compassionate art of saying no. What if the kindest thing you could ever do for yourself is to finally disappoint someone else? Here is the truth. Every time you say yes when your spirit is begging to say no, you are quietly abandoning yourself. You say yes to avoid conflict. You agree to take on extra weight at work because you fear being seen as unhelpful. You stay in draining conversations because you do not want to appear rude. You prioritize everyone else's comfort while quietly suffocating under the weight of it all. You think this makes you a good person. You think this endless giving is kindness. You believe that if you just give enough, eventually they will naturally respect your limits. But they will not, because you have never shown them where your limits are. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a profound lesson about compassion. True compassion is vast, but it must always include oneself. In Buddhist thought, if your kindness is born out of fear, guilt, or an attempt to control how others perceive you, it is not true compassion. It is attachment. It is a desire for approval dressed up as virtue. Right action means honoring the reality of your own energy. It means recognizing that your well-being is not a sacrifice required to earn love. Imagine a deep, quiet well in the center of a village. It provides cool, life-giving water for those who are thirsty. But if the well tries to water every surrounding field, if it gives away every drop to the dry earth without waiting for the rain to replenish it, the well will inevitably run dry. A dry well serves no one. It becomes nothing more than a hollow space in the dirt. Saying no is not building a heavy stone wall over the well to keep the world out. It is simply allowing the water time to rise again. Think about your daily life. Think about how often you drain your own well for people who only ever take. You over-explain your decisions, offering 10 desperate excuses when a simple refusal would do. You apologize for not answering a message instantly. You let a family member's bad mood dictate your entire day, rushing to fix their emotions so you can feel safe again. You are terrified of the word no because, secretly, you have linked your worth to your usefulness. You think that if you stop being useful, you will stop being valued. Ask yourself, who are you protecting when you swallow your own needs? Is this endless accommodating bringing you peace, or is it feeding your exhaustion? What are you truly afraid will happen if you simply say, I cannot do this today? Pause. Breathe. The next time you are asked to compromise your peace, observe the panic that rises in your chest. Let it rise without acting on it. Do not immediately say yes. Give yourself the gift of a pause. Stop trying to force yourself to be everything for everyone. Let that sink in. A quiet, firm no does not make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one, because standing up for yourself does not require shouting. It does not require a dramatic conflict. It only requires a quiet, steady commitment to your own truth. But learning to stop giving yourself away to others is only part of the healing. And this is where the next truth begins. Because the heaviest demands do not always come from the people around you. Sometimes, the harshest disrespect comes from the voice inside your own head. 6. Making peace with your imperfect self. What if the harshest cruelty you endure is not spoken by someone else, but whispered quietly in your own mind? Here is the truth. You are exhausted because you are fighting a war on two fronts. You are trying to manage how the world treats you, and at the same time, you are relentlessly punishing yourself for every perceived flaw. You replay awkward conversations long after they have ended. You judge yourself harshly for feeling anxious. You tell yourself that you should be stronger, more healed, or more successful by now. You think that by constantly criticizing yourself, you are holding yourself to a high standard. But in reality, The disrespect you accept from others is often just a reflection of the disrespect you show yourself behind closed doors. You are demanding an impossible perfection from yourself before you feel worthy of your own love. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the practice of loving kindness, which must always begin within. In Buddhist thought, making peace with yourself does not mean pretending you are flawless. It means cultivating a gentle, non-judgmental awareness of your own humanity. It is the profound understanding that your flaws and struggles are not enemies to be destroyed. They are simply parts of your experience, waiting to be held with compassion. Imagine a vast, open sky. Throughout the day, this sky holds many different things. Sometimes there are soft, white clouds. Sometimes there are violent, dark thunderstorms. Sometimes there is heavy fog or smoke. But no matter how dark the storm gets or how thick the fog becomes, the sky itself is never stained. It never shrinks away from the storm. It never tries to fight the clouds. It simply makes space for it all, knowing that the weather is not the sky. You too are the sky. But you have spent your whole life believing you are the storm. Think about your daily inner dialogue. You fail at a task at work, and instead of seeing a mistake, you label yourself a failure. You stumble in a relationship, and you convince yourself you are unlovable. You feel a wave of sadness or anger, and you immediately try to push it away, judging yourself for not being perfectly peaceful. You are trying to fight the weather inside your own mind. You treat your own difficult emotions as if they are permanent stains on who you are. Ask yourself, would you ever speak to someone you love the way you speak to yourself? Are you holding on to the hidden belief that if you just punish yourself enough, you will eventually become perfect? Is this constant self-criticism bringing you peace, or is it feeding your exhaustion? Pause. Breathe. Observe the heavy, critical thought without following it down the spiral. You do not have to fight the inner critic today. Just notice it. Watch it rise like a dark cloud drifting across your vast sky, and let it pass. Stop trying to force yourself to be entirely healed before you allow yourself to live. Let that sink in. You can be a masterpiece and a complete work in progress at the exact same time. You are allowed to be imperfect, uncertain, and still entirely deserving of respect, because making peace with your flaws removes the heavy internal resistance you have carried for so long. But when the mind is finally quiet, a new kind of panic often arises, and this is where the next truth begins. Because sitting with your true self is deeply uncomfortable when your mind is used to constantly running. 7. Staying present when the mind wants to run. What if the silence you are so desperately trying to avoid is the only place where true healing can begin? Here is a truth that is hard to sit with. When you finally stop fighting the world and stop punishing yourself, the quiet can feel terrifying. For so long, you have been in survival mode. You have spent your energy managing other people's expectations, over-analyzing your flaws, and trying to figure out how to earn the respect you were missing. Now that you are trying to stand still, your mind panics. It does not know what to do without a crisis to solve or a flaw to fix. So, you fill the empty space with noise. You scroll endlessly through the lives of others. You overcommit to work you do not even care about. You worry about a future you cannot control, or you replay memories you cannot change. You would rather feel the familiar ache of anxiety than face the vast, unknown emptiness of simply being alone with yourself. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound power of staying in the present moment, even when it is deeply uncomfortable. In Buddhist thought, the untrained mind is like a wild creature, constantly leaping into the future out of fear or clinging to the past out of regret. But suffering thrives in that very running. Peace is not found by searching for a better distraction. It is found by learning to sit still in the middle of the discomfort, observing the urge to run, and gently choosing to stay. Imagine a single candle burning in a dark, quiet room. If the window is left open, the wind rushes in. The flame dances wildly, desperately throwing shadows against the walls, fighting to stay alive, leaning heavily this way and that. Your mind is that flame, caught in the wind of your endless distractions. But if you slowly close the window, the wind stops. The flame does not go out. Instead, it settles. It stands tall and burns steadily, quietly illuminating the entire room. Think about your own life. Think about what you do the exact moment you feel a sudden pang of loneliness, insecurity, or a lack of worth. You reach for your phone. You turn on the television just to have background noise. You rehearse arguments that will never happen. You do everything you can to avoid sitting in the room with your own imperfect self. You are intentionally keeping the window open because you are afraid of what you might see if the light finally settles. Ask yourself, what are you running from right now? Are you terrified that if you finally sit still, you will discover that you are truly alone, or worse, that you are not enough? Is this endless mental running bringing you peace, or is it feeding your fear? Pause. Breathe. Feel the steady weight of your body right where you are. When the urge to run rises, do not fight it, but do not obey it either. Watch it pull at you and let it pass. Stop trying to escape the exact moment you are in. Let that sink in. You are completely safe in this quiet. You do not need to fill the space with worry just to feel alive, because learning to stay present is how you finally stop abandoning yourself. You prove to your own heart that you will not run away when things feel heavy, but sitting quietly with yourself is only the preparation. Eventually, you must take this quiet strength back out into the noise of the world. And this is where the next truth begins, because stepping back into life requires a completely different way of walking. 8. Stepping back into life with quiet strength. What if true power is not about forcing the world to respect you, but about no longer needing it to? Here is the truth. Stepping back into the world after you have spent a lifetime shrinking feels like walking into a storm without an umbrella. You want to live fully, but you are afraid. You fear that if you put yourself out there again, if you speak up at work, if you open your heart to a new friend, if you simply exist without making yourself small, someone will inevitably try to tear you down again. You think that to survive, you must either hide away forever, or you must become hard, cold, and defensive. You believe that to protect your newfound self-respect, you must wear heavy armor at all times. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us a very different way to walk through the world. It teaches us that true strength does not require hardness. In Buddhist thought, the highest form of resilience is not becoming a fortress. It is cultivating a mind of equanimity, a balanced, quiet strength that remains steady no matter what happens around it. You do not need to become aggressive to protect your peace. Softness, when grounded in deep self-awareness, is actually indestructible. Imagine a heavy pane of glass and a deep, flowing river. If you throw a sharp stone at the glass, it shatters instantly because it is rigid, brittle, and unyielding. It tries to stop the stone and is destroyed by it. But if you throw that same stone into the river, the water simply parts to receive it. There is a small splash, a few gentle ripples, and then the river swallows the stone completely. The river does not stop flowing. It does not shatter. It does not need to freeze into a wall of solid ice to protect itself from being struck. Its strength lies in its fluidity. Think about how you move through your own life. When someone speaks to you with subtle disrespect, your instinct is to act like the glass. You either shatter inward by blaming yourself, or you shatter outward by reacting with frantic defensiveness. You tighten up. You try to force them to see your side. But what if you met their disrespect as water? At work, when your efforts are ignored, You can state your truth clearly, without desperately needing them to validate it. In relationships, you can show up authentically, not because you are certain they will never hurt you, but because you know that even if a stone is thrown, it cannot stop your flow. Ask yourself, are you trying to go through life made of glass, hoping to be too tough to break? What would happen if you allowed yourself to be water moving forward softly, but with a quiet, unstoppable force? Pause. Breathe. The next time you feel the urge to harden yourself against the world, physically soften your shoulders. Observe their reaction, but do not absorb it. Let the stone fall into the water without letting it stop your flow. Stop trying to force the door open, and stop trying to build a thicker wall. Let that sink in. You do not have to be defensive to be safe. You just have to be deeply rooted in exactly who you are. Because when you stop trying to control how the world sees you, you finally become free to simply live in it. And this is where the final truth begins. Because the ultimate destination of this journey is not just learning to survive the world, it is discovering the profound freedom of finally coming home to yourself. 9. The freedom of true self-respect. What if the peace you have been endlessly searching for was waiting for you all along, just quietly hoping you would stop running? Think back to where we began. Think about the heavy exhaustion you carried for so long, the invisible weight of making yourself small just to survive, the quiet agreements to accept less than you deserved, born out of a deep fear that you were not enough. You spent so much of your life trying to earn your place in the world. You bent to invisible storms. You demanded a flawless perfection from your own heart before you would allow yourself to simply exist. You built walls to keep the pain out, only to trap yourself in the dark. But here is the final truth. You were fighting a war that was never yours to win. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the ultimate freedom is non-attachment, not just from material things, but from the desperate need to control our own image in the eyes of others. True self-respect is not a heavy shield you hold up against the world. It is the profound, quiet realization that there is nothing left to defend. When you finally accept your imperfect, beautiful self, the opinions of others lose their grip on your soul. You no longer need them to validate your gold. You no longer need to apologize for the mud in your river. Imagine a bird that has lived its entire life inside a small cage. For years, it sang desperately for its seeds, believing that if it was not good enough, it would not survive. It fluttered anxiously, bumping against the metal bars. But one day, the bird realizes something shocking. The door to the cage has always been wide open. It was never locked. The sky outside is vast, quiet, and endlessly blue. All the bird has to do is stop fighting the bars, hop onto the ledge, and simply open its wings. The bird does not need to earn the right to fly. The sky has always belonged to the bird. You have been sitting inside an open cage, convinced that the door was locked. Think about your own life moving forward. You do not have to become entirely fearless to step outside. You just have to realize that the cage is an illusion. When someone misunderstands you, you can let them. When you make a mistake, you can gently forgive yourself without tearing your inherent worth apart. You can show up to your life with quiet strength, knowing that you are entirely worthy of respect, exactly as you are. Ask yourself, are you ready to stop fighting the bars? Are you ready to step out into the light, carrying your flaws and your brilliance together without shame? Pause, breathe, feel the quiet space inside your chest. Let the heavy burden of needing to be perfect slowly fall away. You have carried it for long enough. Stop trying to earn what has always been yours, because the world does not need a perfect version of you. It simply needs you, awake, present, and whole. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Peace was never outside of you.